I don't want to say he's like the Terminator, but you could just tell nothing was getting in his way.
No, you can make that comparison. I see what comparison you're trying to make.
Like, he nothing. I mean, this motherfucker killed a death trooper in one shot. Diving forward and shot him. This motherfucker was not dying. He was on his shonen anime protagonist like nothing in this world was going to kill him.
Huh.
The riot itself. Beautiful.
I mean, the fact that Marva's dying words would be to instigate a mini rebellious riot amongst the empire that's invaded. But I am so happy that's what caused everything to fall into place.
I loved it. I also love that Brasso used Marva's brick to literally bash in someone's skull. Like, it's a blink and you miss it moment, but he like punches an Imperial and his helmet flies off, and he then takes the brick, and as they're like recoiling, he brings it down onto their skull, and they just drop to the ground instantly.
She would have loved that.
She would have loved it. I also really like, for a while when the riot was happening, it was legitimately just people beating each other to death. Like, people were dying. Not because of, like, being shot, that hadn't happened yet. They literally were just killing each other with their bare hands. And there's something so visceral with authority, where the people with their bare hands are grabbing authority and literally just beating them to death with their bare hands, is something it inspired an emotion in me that I cannot describe. But it was so visceral seeing that. Especially from how all that they box, the way that they were trying to intimidate them throughout the entire time, just it all blew up. And right as when it looks like the riot police is like about to win, this motherfucker, he takes out his fucking bomb, he launches that shit, and that looked like that was probably the most realistic explosion in Star Wars. The way the shrapnel flew everywhere, and like how Nurchi instantly dies, not because he was in the direct explosion, but from the sheer level of shrapnel impales him and he dies instantly. Which I felt was really realistic, because a lot of times in Star Wars, you see a character get blown up and they kind of cartoonishly like fly in the air and then just kind of like fall down. That's kind of not how explosions really work. The concussive force of the projectiles. And that's what that explosion was, and it was really well done.
Yeah, yeah.
So, God, I really loved the anvil guy. He just fucking Sparta kicked that stormtrooper out the tower. Like, the guy comes up, he turns on, he's like, BOOM! That motherfucker's dead. Like, the way Cinta, I knew, as soon as I saw the spy walking around and I saw Cinta, I was like, oh, she's gonna knife the fuck out of him. And then she just started stabbing him, like, in the corner, and then drops his body and, like, closes the door. I was like, that's everything I wanted from her. I was like, this show is gonna end with Cinta killing someone, and it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah, I do want to briefly touch on, like, just a little side plot that's going on Coruscant.
Oh yeah, with Mon Mothma. Honestly, well played by Mon Mothma.
Yeah,
that was an expert move that she pulled on the ISB.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we get confirmation that the driver is a spy for the Empire.
Yep.
Yeah, which she suspected back from the beginning of the series, and
yeah, and she played it so well. Like, honestly, like, the Empire's playing checkers, she's playing fucking chess. The way that she pulled that move off, she like I really want to break down just how genius that was.
Oh yeah,
like, everyone knew. Like, the driver at this point knows Perrin and Mon Mothma. Then, like, it'd be reasonable for them to have an argument. So Mon Mothma, in that moment, realizes, I have a way to save myself. Perrin comes in drunk, and she just says, you've been gambling again. Perrin hasn't been gambling, but he's drunk. So he's going to deny it, and he's not going to do a good job of arguing back. So she stays stalwart in her accusations, saying it just loud enough for the driver to be listening. So then she complains about it, says that you're gambling on Coruscant, and our money is disappearing because of your gambling, which is a lie. But the ISB doesn't know it's a lie. They think that, yeah, he's just a degenerate gambler. So she tells him to go to Canto Bight, which, nice. And basically, that all culminates in when the driver reports to Blevin, the driver just says, oh yeah, her husband is a degenerate gambler, so that's where their money's going, which is now the perfect cover for. And the way they wove that plot thread into this one moment that caused both of them to coincide and work in a way that is both reasonable, effective, believable, and pushes the plot forward, it is a masterclass. She now has security and